Now, the new Vardaria Prime sniper rifle might just be one of the strongest rifles in Warframe right now, and not just because of those base stats. It actually works outside of being a single target sniper rifle, whereas previously you might not be inclined to take a sniper rifle because it doesn't have crowd clearing potential. This feckin' does. What makes this gun ridiculous is its passive and the way it can synergize with some of the game's mechanics when paired with the right Warframe. If you stick it on a Warframe like Lavos, like Nova, like Dante, or like Zephyr, suddenly you're clearing entire rooms with lightning strikes from the clouds. It doesn't feel like you're sniping, like I said, single targets anymore. It feels like a feckin' Zeus simulator. Now, on its own, the Vardaria is already really good. It's a charge-up sniper, think along the lines of a railgun, and you can just quickscope it. You don't have to zoom in, but it does have a zoom-in mechanic if you hit the alternate fire button. But because it's a charge-up weapon, you are going to want to mod, I guess, for fire rate, just to make it that little bit easier to handle. It fires a beam of pure electric damage, great for shredding shields, not so good against heavily armoured enemies, unless you are stripping away their armour first with an ability. Like I said, it does have an 8 times zoom in mechanic, which will give you plus 50% crit damage bonus if you want to use it, but that 8 times, I guess, zoom can be a little bit aggressive. Now, the real kicker, like I said, is the passive. Every shot that you land creates a conductive field around the target, and this field can spawn up to 3 lightning strikes on random enemies nearby. Sometimes you'll only get 1 lightning strike, sometimes you might get all 3. Multi-shot will increase your odds on how many lightning strikes you're going to get. And these lightning strikes always count as a precision shot, so headshots, weak spots, things like that. Meaning you will see a lot of red crits from those lightning strikes themselves. And it gets better. Those lightning strikes will inherit your weapon's mods, so crit chance, crit damage, elemental mods, multi-shot, even punch through will all be applied. The only thing that doesn't apply is galvanized aptitude. You don't want to be modding this thing for status, you want to go all out raw or crit. Now, here's where things get a little bit crazy. Blast status effects on your weapon or through an ability with a Warframe can actually trigger the lightning strikes on their own. So if you force blast procs into the mix, you don't just get your normal 3 strikes, you can get chains of lightning going off again and again non-stop once you keep firing until the whole room or a large group of enemies are absolutely fried. This kind of looks like a bug, almost certainly a bug with certain Warframes, Lavos in particular, but right now it is hilarious just to see it going off. Now, Lavos with his Valence Formation augment can infuse blast onto the Vardaria and force those procs with every shot. That means that the lightning never stops, which you've probably seen on other videos, you've probably seen on the forums or on Reddit. It looks a little bit ridiculous. Like I said, it looks busted. Nova's Molecular Prime also carries over the lightning because her explosions from Molecular Prime count as weapons damage, so when enemies go pop, the chain reaction will continue to kick off and it will re-trigger those lightning strikes. Suddenly, your one-shot sniper rifle becomes an entire group wipe. Then you have Dante, might actually be one of my favourites to set up with this weapon, is his Ward Warden can be modded to be an autocannon spitting out blast damage, and when Page Flight boosts the status vulnerability and the enemies, I guess, taking more status damage as well. While the Vardaria does a lot of those lightning strikes, it is a really good way to clean up large groups of enemies. Then you have Zephyr's Tornadoes, which is pretty much the same deal. You can shoot the tornadoes with the Vardaria, they will inherit the electric and of course the blast, and every enemy that gets caught up in them, you will see the lightning strikes going off over and over again. So like I said at the start, on paper the Vardaria looks like a crit heavy electric sniper or railgun, but in practice it is a large area of effect, I guess, clearing sniper rifle that can clear large groups of Steel Path enemies in seconds. It's a little bit overkill and it might end up getting nerfed in the next few days. In fact, it might get nerfed shortly after or before this video even goes live. But until then, I guess you can enjoy being the god of thunder. So this is pretty much my multi-shot Vardaria Prime setup. I do have Serration, which you can switch out for a Bane mod if you want to. Galvanized Chamber for multi-shot for more lightning strikes. Galvanized Scope to bring it up to red crit territory. Vital Sense for crit damage. Then I've got Hellfire and Rhyme rounds because I want to have blast on the weapon. But if you've got a Warframe that's going to give you that, then you could switch those out for target acquired or bladed rounds. Again, entirely up to you. Critical Delay is giving me more crit chance on top of the Galvanized Scope. And then I've got Primed Shred, which is giving me punch through, which is going to allow me to hit more enemies and at the same time cause more lightning strikes to come down as well. Then of course you got Primary Deadhead. On precision headshot kills, it's going to stack up my bonus damage. Then of course Vigilante Supplies is the Excellent slot, but you can put whatever you want in here. Now if you want to not go with a multi-shot setup and go with Acuity so that your lightning strikes are all really heavily into the red crit territory, then you could go for something like this. Again, you can switch Amalgam Serration out for a Bane mod. I just like using this because it gives me that extra sprint speed. And then you've got Target Acquired for headshot multiplier. Then you've got Bladed Rounds for additional crit damage when you're aiming, which is pretty much all the time. Then you've got Acuity, which is going to remove multi-shot, but it's going to give you weak point damage and weak point crit chance. And considering all of those lightning strikes, when they come down, do seem to hit either weak spots or headshots, this is probably one of the strongest builds that you could go with. But again, entirely up to the user. Depending on whether you've got a Warframe that's going to give you that blast damage or that blast damage effect on top of the electric that you're getting with this. So that's pretty much the Vardaria Prime, our first new Prime, I guess, variant of a weapon, I think, since the Euphona Prime back with Banshee Prime. And it is an incredibly powerful weapon and an incredibly fun weapon as well. And I hope if it does get any kind of a change, it's not too severe. I do like the fact that on every frame outside of maybe Nova and Lavos, it's going to be quite good. So if they go changing it to accommodate, I guess, how busted it feels with Nova and Lavos, then it might ruin it for every other frame. But let me know in the comment section below what you think of the Vardaria, whether you like it or not. Whether you think it'll be, I guess, changed or nerfed or not. Have a great day, have a great week, and as always, thanks for watching.